Welcome back to Hear Me Roar. I'm your host, Elizabeth Hernandez, and thank you for watching. On today's show, we'll be focusing on masculinity. We'll be talking to two MSU students about what their take is on the topic. Stay tuned after this.
The man scores a lot of points. A man carries his team to victory. The man benches 400 pounds. A man can hold the weight of adversity. The man drives nice cars. A man finds a way to get somewhere worth being. The man would have 6 kids. A man will support a child that's not his. One thing about being a man is not about how well we do a job, but it's about how well we can do a job together to reach a common goal. You know, media portrays men as these big guys who can go out and do anything themselves, and that's just not true. And a real man is somebody who knows that he has to work together with people to accomplish something that he cannot do himself.
Joining us now is Aaron. Hi, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, ma'am.
No problem. So about masculinity, what is your take on what it is?
Well, I think it is such an ambiguous topic that you have to narrow it down to a person. And if there's like a set definition of it, I don't think there is, because it's all relative to the person being asked or being talked about. For me, it all boils down to what qualifies me to be a good man, and it has to be, you have to care for others, put others in front of yourself. You have to be loyal to those around you, to your friends, and you have to just do the best of what you're given in life, and try to just do your best in life.
Right. And do you think that for men there is a certain, perhaps, is it pushed upon for them to be masculine?
I think in a certain sense it is. It's definitely changed over the years, but the paradigm of you must be a man, be manly, don't show your emotions, don't cry, be strong for everyone. It's a good concept, and if you can do it, great. But I think to be truly a man, you have to show emotion. You have to show that you can care for others. Mm-hmm. And I've always looked up to my dad in that sense, because he cares for others, and you know he does the best for what he's given, and he does the best for his family, for his wife, my mom, and me, and does the best for all those around you. So yeah.
So, what do you think some negatives about a man being pushed towards being masculine would be?
It, you know, you get looked upon by peers in a weird sense sometimes.
Okay.
You know, if the whole fraternity thing, you know,
Mhm.
if you don't drink like me, I don't drink, and you know, you can be looked upon as weak or you know, not fun enough.
Right.
And once again, it goes back to, you know, you can't show emotions, um, or to a uber masculine, if you will, like treat women like objects. You know, that's not what masculinity is to me. So there's definitely bad instances of masculinity out there, but it's up to that individual man to try and set his own masculinity definition.
Oh, of course. And have you seen that within perhaps like college being more forced upon, or maybe high school? How is it like?
I think it's, you know, socialized into kids, you know, that, you know, men are supposed to be, you know, breadwinners or whatever. But, you know, in jobs, if you don't have a good position, or if, you know, if you're just like a minimum wage worker or whatever,
Right.
you're not seen masculine enough. And when it comes to colleges, once again, it goes back to, you know, men sowing their seed, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, you just have to, you know, give the opportunities you're given, make the best of them.
Of course. And you said emotion is important in order to, well, in your definition, be masculine. So why is that? Like, why is that good? Or like, in which way would you need to show that?
You know, if you have the ability to love others and show emotion for others, why not do it?
Right.
This world is so, you know, chaotic anyway, that to have someone say, don't care for somebody or don't show emotion. Well, maybe that person that needs emotion can't tell underneath a person that, you know, maybe they do like me. So maybe, you know,
Mm-hmm.
men have to say, hey, you know, I love you, I'm here for you, man. Or, you know, sometimes they may have to cry for a friend, you know, just to show that, you know, they're with them.
Right. And masculinity now, I feel, isn't seen so much into men as well. It reflects also into women. So
Right.
a lot of guys could say, oh, that woman, she's too masculine for me, or she goes to the gym, or she plays certain sports. So what is your take on that?
I think that, you know, the traits of masculinity do carry over, especially in today's world where the paradigms of genders are being shifted.
Right.
You know, one doesn't have to agree with them, but one has to recognize that they are being shifted. And you have to recognize that, yes, women are going to have some masculine traits. It's just going to happen in today's world. So, yeah.
Okay. And do you think that's a negative thing, or in your opinion, that would be a negative thing for women to perhaps showcase those masculinity traits?
I don't think so, especially, you know, when you consider single-parent homes where
Right.
the woman is the only one there. You know, women will have to step up and be a father figure.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it happens more than people probably realize.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Stay tuned. We'll be talking to student Trace about the same thing, so stay tuned.
I'm Dr. Bernadette Barton. I'm a professor of sociology and gender studies at Morehead State University. I'm also author of Stripped: Inside the Lives of Exotic Dancers, Pray the Gay Way: The Extraordinary Lives of Bible Belt Gays, and I have a new edition of Stripped coming out called More Stories from Exotic Dancers. I've also been a professor of sociology and gender studies here for 18 years, and I'm also the faculty advisor for SAGE, Student Association for Gender Equality. So gender roles are external to the individual. Sex and gender, sex is our biological sex, our chromosomes, our hormones, our genitalia. Gender is the social construction of femininity and masculinity. Gender roles are what society assigns us based on whether they perceive us as masculine or feminine. Now some people line up with the gender role that society says they should be. Some people do not. So gender roles can be very confining if you're not in alignment with what society wants. Coming up with a specific incident is more difficult than talking about the sort of systematic track of experience. So as a feminine woman, my entire life, I've struggled to be perceived of as powerful and have authority, especially in places like the classroom, in ways that men are just sort of automatically assumed to know their subject matter. I've had to fight harder to be perceived of as valid. I would also like to talk a moment about the impact of the recent election and how that is affecting us as gendered people. So we just elected an openly bigoted, sexist person to the highest office, and we did not elect the most qualified woman to ever run. So that says a lot to me about the way our society sees women and women's characteristics and women's ability to lead. Patriarchy overvalues everything associated with men and masculinity and undervalues everything associated with women and femininity. The rules for masculinity in our society are even more narrow than the rules for femininity. Women are allowed to express and even encouraged to be like a guy as they get older. In fact, a lot of girls brag about how they like hanging out with the guys and are happy to be included among the guys. But what's missing there is the devaluation of everything to do with women. Like, why isn't it okay to be like a girl? So masculinity also, the way it is in our late capitalist society, you're supposed to be tough, you're supposed to be sexually aggressive, you're supposed to be entitled to women's bodies, you're supposed to be violent, you're not supposed to be very intelligent, and you're not supposed to be very kind. I think it's a very disturbing and toxic combination. And we can see the consequences of it in the person that we just elected to be leader of the free world.
Looking for somewhere to test your true benching ability? In need of your own rack to squat? Don't feel like running outside in muggy weather and just want a place where you can get good cardio without having to go very far? Come out to our recreational center. Hours and job offerings are available on mymorehead.com.
Joining us now is Trace. Welcome to the show.
Hey.
So can you tell us a little bit on what it is to you, or what masculinity is?
Masculinity. It's been a tough cookie. You know, you got to be able to go the distance. You know, you got to be able to just stand strong against the tides, and it's really like, masculinity. It's really put on men in general. Like, you have to be that, which is really ignorant, because women are just as tough, just as strong. And yeah, I've never understood why it's all put on the man, and it's not focused on both genders or all genders.
Of course. And what are some definitions you've heard of masculinity? Like, for example, there's this take on you have to be very macho, like, what are some things?
Oh, yeah, 100% like macho. Can't feel pain. Doesn't cry, doesn't show emotion, just gutsy, risky, just ready to go at it anytime. Not afraid of anything. Yeah, basically inhuman.
Yeah. So do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing in your opinion?
It's a bad thing. It's a totally bad thing. I mean, we're humans. We have emotions. We cry. We feel it. It's totally natural, and to fight that is unnatural. So yeah, it's very bad in my opinion.
And have you seen that maybe in the in your workplace or in the school? Have you seen that? Have you seen that like firsthand?
I wouldn't call that. I wouldn't say my workplace or school in general, like specifically, but in life I have. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen friends, family repress a lot of things just to be tough. And not talk it out, which is healthy and wonderful. It's something we all should do. And it's just I've seen some very emotionally speaking unhealthy things.
Okay. And do you think it's with you? Of course, it should be something I think that should be talked about, because it isn't really. Have you guys, or you with your friends, maybe perhaps with your parents, have you discussed masculinity topic?
With regards to my parents, my dad, like all Eastern Kentucky fathers, wants their child to be super tough and stern, and unfortunately I wasn't that. I cried a lot as a child, like a whole lot, because I was just really sensitive about a lot of things. But yeah, so with regards to him, he always wanted to be tough. And then my friends, growing up, I tried to do the tough guy thing,
Right.
And then about high school, I kind of grew out of that and was like, if something hurts, I'm just going to say it hurts, it hurts. If I'm feeling bad, I'm just going to say I'm feeling bad. Easy as
Right.
that. It makes my life 100 times easier.
Oh, definitely. And so how do you feel about the word masculinity be used for women? How women who perhaps go professionally into sports, how they're seen more as like masculine, or if they work out and are more toned than some other women, how that's seen as masculinity. What do you think about that?
Well, sometimes it's seen like that word is put on them in a negative light, which is very, very bad. I mean, I wouldn't, I guess I wouldn't, I don't know, I'm not sure if they'd feel comfortable with me calling them masculine. Actually, I probably just wouldn't do it in general. I'd just call them, I'd call them strong, I'd call them big, I'd call them, I'd call them muscular, I'd call them whatever the word is, just not masculine. I mean, just doesn't suit them.
Right. And why do you think this is a topic that isn't really spoken about, or within just men, or just women and men in general?
It's uncomfortable. I think a lot of people just don't want to face it. It's it's easy to play these stereotypes we have in our world. It's just like, it's putting life on easy mode, not facing these things, and just playing along with it. And I don't blame people for not talking about it, but it's something we all should do.
Oh, definitely. Well, thank you so much for being on the show and talking about this.
That was great.
Thank you. Well, stay tuned to a next video and see you soon.
It never gets old, huh?
Nope.
Kind of makes you want to.
Breaking a song?
Yeah? I love the sunset.
I love Eagle Lake.
I love the forest.
I love when the Eagles play.
I love the campus.
And all its sights and sounds.
Boom-de-yada, boom-de-yada.
Boom-de-yada, boom-de-yada.
I love philosophy.
We love diversity.
I love English.
And all its weird words.
I love the music.
And all its melodies.
Boom-de-yada, boom-de-yada.
Boom-de-yada, boom-de-yada.
I love fraternities.
I love sororities.
I love to draw things.
And all the athletes.
I love Morehead.
It's such a pretty place.
Boom-de-yada, 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 boom-de-yada.
Thank you so much for watching. This is Hear Me Roar. I'm your host, Elizabeth Hernandez. See you next time.